I'm going to teach you how to control every single relationship that you have in your life, from your intimate relationship all the way to the relationships in the workplace. Hey everybody, I'm Rudy, Advantage Mindset, where we talk about life and business strategies and how to turn that into your own control and success. And so today's topic is relationships with other people outside of yourself, which is one of my favorites actually, because whether it's in your personal life, your business life, whatever it may be, if you don't have good relationships with others, you're not going to be successful, nor will you be happy. You can make all the money you want in this lifetime. You could be as successful in the business world as you want to be. You have all the riches you can ask for, but if you don't have a relationship, a woman or a man who's in love with you and supports you, you will never truly be happy. And I believe that. The same thing, like whether you're a business owner or you work in the workplace, a business does not thrive unless it has great relationships. Great relationships with its customers, great relationship with its employees, and joint ventures. You make relationship with other business owners because sometimes you guys collaborate and do projects together, so whatever the case may be, if you do not have a grasp on how to control the relationships in your life, or at least have a good amount of influence over them, to me, you can't reach a level of success. So what I teach with the Vantage philosophy is that there's three main areas in our lives that if we do not have these three areas balanced, then we truly cannot be fulfilled and successful at the same time. Maybe you be successful in one of these areas, but it's not going to be fulfilling in your overall grand scheme of things. And the point that I want to do is be able to help people get to a place where they live on that peak of the mountain so they can have views of virtue. And so the point of Vantage and what I try to teach people is how to have absolute control of your life. And I get that there are certain things that we can't control, but we always can control the emotions and the meanings that we give to certain scenarios. So when it comes to relationships, it's pretty easy when dealing with people. You first must understand that in order to have control over a relationship or a conversation with somebody and an interaction with somebody, and how that interaction or communication plays out is going to be based on your ability to go beyond yourself and start paying attention to the perspective of the person you're speaking with, as well as the emotions and the thoughts, and just kind of be engaged. And you can go beyond yourself and you can give to someone else. That's the most fulfilling thing that you can ever get. It's more fulfilling than any amount of money you can get. To have an impact on somebody's life like that, let me tell you from experience, there's nothing that can replace that feeling. But when it comes to me and how I interact with people, I always try to listen to the person I'm speaking with. In this case, let's talk about my wife. When we come into disagreement and to where we're kind of clashing, I must be able to step back, take a step out of this scenario, kind of like as if I step out of this bubble and I get to look at it from a place from a higher perspective. That's what Vantage is all about, being at the highest perspective possible that gives you an advantage to things. And you can't do that if you're trapped inside of your emotions. So first, you must understand, you need to get out of your own way as far as being an emotional person. Because as long as your emotions control you, you will never ever be free. And it's quite the opposite on the other end. If you can control your emotions, you will be free and you will reach a level of success that you've never thought attainable. Because the way that you'll find yourself interacting with people on a day-to-day basis is going to be completely mind-boggling. And so back to the relationship and the clashing with my wife, I always try to take a step back, because in the heat of the moment, it's tough. But that's why it's this constant practice. Each and every day, you're just catching your emotions a little bit quicker. That's the whole point. We're not going to be able to just snap our fingers and have a grasp of things. So when my wife and I are butting heads, I kind of just sit there and ask myself, what is she trying to get right now? What's bothering her? Where are we going wrong? And then I start asking more questions like, well, what is it that she wants? That her, not me, because I know what I want, but what does she want? And you just constantly will just continuously backtrack and ask questions. And so once I come up with a solution of what it is that she wants in my head, I know that I have the ability to make the decision to give her what she wants, or try to find a conclusion that makes both of us happy. But as long as both of us are emotional, we're going to continue to clash. Same thing in the workplace. If you're having disagreements with somebody in the workplace, whether it's a superior or an employee or whoever, first you must step out and become the leader of the situation. I call it the dominant thought pattern. The thoughts that are going on in my head are going to be so much stronger because I'm conscious of them, for one, and for two, I know that the results that I'm trying to get is just peace and love and a conclusion that makes everybody happy. You know, that's the main objective of dealing with relationships with people. And so there's just a few different topics that I wanted to go over in a step-by-step process about how you can get better at catching yourself and applying these little principles that I have for you. I'm gonna go over them real quickly. The first one is self-reflection and awareness. You know, like I touched on it a little bit before, you know, you gotta be self-aware of yourself. Like, you have to be able to control your emotions. And so you need to first be able to do something that helps you get a grasp of yourself. And it's different for everybody. Some people, it could be rubbing your ear. Some people, it could just be a deep breath. Some people, it could be a walk around the block. And, you know, you're gonna have to figure that out for yourself. Find something that works. For me, it's just seeking God, because God is light and God is love. And when I allow that, I search for that, and I bring that to my attention and my focus, it's easier to allow it to set inside. The second thing that you must do is you must, like I said earlier, you must actively listen. Like, really pay attention to this person. You have to make sure you have the person across from you feel like their interest is at the forefront of your attention. That's the most important thing. You don't want to be speaking to someone and the other person that's listening to you is just on their phone, looking down, texting somebody. It doesn't feel good. And so don't do that to somebody else. Don't do things that you don't want done to you. The next thing that we do need to do is, once you start listening, you need to build that empathy. Like, you have to make them feel understood. There's no way around it. I'm not going to be able to break down all the details in this video. I'm just giving you guys the overlay. And along this journey, if you guys continue to watch this work, I'm going to continuously teach you guys how to get to that level. And every single relationship in my life is pretty damn good. You know, I'd say about 90%, to where I don't argue with people. Everybody in my family respects each other. We speak to each other with respect, because once you get a grasp on this, you set the standards. You know, and like I said, just pay attention. I'll teach you guys. And then, so after the empathy building comes the effective communication. Not all people can become conscious of where they're at in their emotional state and then have the ability to jump into yours and try to understand your perspective. And so if you can get better at communicating from a place of vulnerability, a place of love and compassion, that will give you the opportunity to allow room in their mind to jump into your perspective and try to hear you out. Because if I can understand you and you can understand me, it's going to come a lot better for us to just come together and come up with a conclusion. Like I said, that we're all happy and we won the day. And so after we do this communication part, we're just seeking for common ground. You know, we want to be both on the same level. We want to be on the same page of the book, reading the same thing. That way, if we still have a different perspective, at least we know where we're at. That's important. So the next step after that is just to try to influence, you know, with love and positivity. If I could show you with my actions that I'm really trying and I really want to understand and I really have your best interest, and if I can show you that, I'm sure you're going to get a sense of that and you're going to want to reciprocate it. And if you don't, then I'm going to turn it up a level and give you even more love and more connection, you know. And it's just, that's how relationships works. It's whoever has the dominant energy. And I get some people sometimes get frustrated and heated to where they have no control over their emotions, you know, but then we just take a step back to breathe and just try to jump into their emotions at that point. But like I said, well, let's get back to just the main overview. So after the influence comes leading by example, and I just kind of just touched on that right now. It's like, by leading would be me jumping in to my consciousness saying, hey, I understand that this person has something that's bothering them so much that they just can't get past. Let me find out what it is. I will go involve myself emotionally more to that person, so that person feels that I'm actually looking and I'm seeking and I'm trying to understand them. So then once we start to understand them, then all we can do from that point is start to encourage growth and help the person understand that we're not in a place that we can't get out of, you know, that this is just temporary. There's a lot more good that lies ahead. And lastly, we just have to be adaptable and flexible. I mean, it just comes down to, at the end of the day, if you want to be that person who leads, who controls how the interactions are going in your life, you have to jump into, I'm going to say it one more time, consciousness. You have to understand what's going on. People are only pulled to make decisions based on two different things. It's either a great amount of pain or a great amount of pleasure. It's one or the other. And I just challenge you guys to, next time you interact with somebody, even if it's good, just try to elevate their level of excitement more. If they're in a sad state, try to get them to smile. If they're angry, try to get them to rationalize. You know, just whatever state they're in. If it's good, try to amplify it. If it's bad, try to reverse it. You know, take these lessons that I just taught you guys, try to implement them, and watch how the relationships in your life start to change for you, and you just start feeling the success and just the contribution to people just elevate and you become more whole. So that's it for today, guys. I hope this helps you guys. Stay tuned. Feel free to reach out. I work with individuals personally to build their dream life on their standards, all the way down to the workplace, feeling valued in work, whether you're an entrepreneur or you work for somebody else. I help you build relationships that last long and help you maneuver and create resources out of relationships. And then lastly, I help you personalize that relationship with yourself. I help you start framing this voice on how you want your voice to speak to you inside your own head. And so feel free to reach out. Rudy, the Vantage Mindset. See you soon.